The Wandering Free Adventure travel segment. Find your adventure on www.wanderingfree.co.za.
That's right, it's a new year, so we're bringing you a new segment. It's the Wandering Free Adventure Travel segment. Adventure travel is something that we've been trying to drive here on the Travelz show. It's basically adventure where you try and travel to somewhere new, somewhere interesting. You do something a little bit more different. And our favorite adventure travel company is Wandering Free. So we've got Sarah Whiteside from Wandering Free in to chat about adventure travel in general. She's going to be here every single week. We're going to be talking about different aspects, different destinations, different places. And today, one of the things that I want to talk to her about is the key tenement of adventure travel, which is responsible travel. To explain this to all of us, I suppose, we've got Sarah in the studio. Welcome to the studio, Sarah. Let's start off with the really simple question. What is responsible travel?
Okay, responsible travel it's almost become a movement, and it's a different way of traveling to what was sort of traditionally popular in sort of the 70s and 80s, sort of going to resorts and staying in five-star hotels that looked the same wherever you were around the world. Now the focus has moved back towards the core of travel, which is seeing and experiencing a destination. So the focus is on sort of staying in locally run hotels and guest houses where the money is being injected back into the communities that you're visiting through tourism rather than, say, going to fund Paris Hilton's handbag collection as an international hotel chain.
Right.
You're also employing local guides that are really passionate and know the areas well, not sort of somebody that's been shipped in from like a first world country that knows very little about the culture and the traditions of the country. So these people will know where to take you to see the best sunsets, and they'll know the locally run restaurants where you're not getting like an oily sort of greasy touristy meal. You're getting a low cost authentic meal from the region. They also focus a lot on low carbon emissions because the point is that you're trying to give back. So instead of being shipped around in big buses, sort of 40 people all together, sort of being shipped out, you've got the loudspeaker and your name badges, you're traveling in groups of sort of 10 to 15 people, which means that you can go to more off-the-beaten track destinations where you can really experience a country. Because travel, you're spending all this money to fly to another country, really to experience a culture and the people, and sort of sitting in a bus and staying in an international hotel chain isn't really an authentic experience in that manner. So
Right. So, I mean, as you say, it's about the experience. It's about actually, you've spent the money. Now you've spent 10 grand, whatever, to fly to Asia. And then you go and you stay in a Holiday Inn, and all the rooms are the same no matter where you go around the world, and everything's cut and paste and dried. And the whole idea behind this is that you're not going to do that. But then the other aspect that you mentioned there that was quite important is the reducing of carbon emissions and trying to cut down on the impact on the world. Because from what I've been reading, I believe there's a stance on that, because the belief is if we do too much carbon damage and too much carbon emissions, then eventually we won't have destinations to travel to.
Yes, there's a fine line. When you're traveling, you're going to see these unsport destinations, and too many passengers traveling there, flying planes in big trucks and buses. That all pollutes the atmosphere and will eventually destroy the environment. So you're trying to reduce those carbon prints to make sure that the destinations are there for future generations, that it's a sustainable tourism resource.
Right, okay. So these are things that people, and I know that internationally these are the things that people are now focusing quite heavily on. Adventure tourism is growing in leaps and bounds in America and in the United Kingdom. We in South Africa, we've not really kind of caught on yet, which I suppose where Wandering Free comes in.
Yeah, it's definitely become a global movement, and it's the fastest growing travel sector in the world right now. South Africa, we tend to be a little bit behind in the trends, but you can see that growth is starting to pick up. People are also wanting to do sort of more active holidays, again with the focus on lower carbon emissions. If you're doing a cycling tour in Europe, you're really experiencing the small towns and villages of Provence or Tuscany in a more authentic way than you would be if you were going on a big bus tour. And again, you're polluting the environment less. And that slower pace of travel really allows you to experience the destination properly.
Right, well, there you go. So that's Wandering Free. We're going to be having Sarah back every single week from now on to talk about adventure travel and to try and encourage you guys to see new places or go and see the old places in a new way, hopefully in a responsible, new, genuinely experiential kind of a way. So, yeah, there you go. That's the Wandering Free 5 minutes.